Saturday, the 2nd of November, a day when the entire country came together as one in celebration of the Springboks winning the Rugby World Cup. A World Cup that was made so much more by the voice of the man who's now done over 100 test matches behind the microphone. Today, we catch up with Matthew Pearce and get his story of the journey of the Rugby World Cup.
Here it is, the Springboks, champions of the world. Halala, amaboka boka, halala.
Matthew Pearce, I almost want to say welcome to South Africa. I'm picking up a faint hint of a Japanese accent there. How long were you actually at the World Cup for?
Dan, I got there on the 1st of September, so 5 days before the warm-up game in Kumagaya against Japan, and from there the Springboks moved down to the southwest of Japan, and almost a 2-hour flight to a place called Kagoshima, where the average temperature for the week they were there was around 38 degrees, 80% humidity, and they had a week-long training camp there. And we were part of that. It was the start of the World Cup journey, you could say, and then back to Tokyo for the build-up week to the New Zealand game on the 21st of September. So I was there for 3 weeks before the World Cup started and got back 4 days after it finished. So 9.5 weeks in total, 9.5 memorable weeks.
The journey that the Springboks have taken was one that we watched largely through yourself, not just commentary, but also doing so much work. What was the day-to-day journey like for you, away from the big games when we heard you doing the commentary, just getting around, traveling, working through this World Cup?
Well, I'm delighted you've asked that question, because I think a lot of my friends and acquaintances think that I've just been on a 9.5 week holiday with a few games of rugby thrown in, but the workload is, it's not insurmountable by any stretch, but it is daily. So in that period, we're sending back to 4 magazine shows, 2 of them in English, 1 Afrikaans, 1 isiXhosa, usually at least 2 pieces of content a day for the SuperSport Blitz channel on channel 200, and then supersport.com as well. So I would say over a 66-day journey, I'm going to go for somewhere between 250 and 300 pieces of content. And then as we got to the playoff stages, we started to pull in our pundits a little bit more, and then obviously a preview show of the final. And that was very impromptu stuff. It was really cool to be a part of, you know, turning a hotel room upside down, moving furniture to create a makeshift studio and send that content back. But so a lot of effort went into it, but just a privilege to have been part of it and to have that ending. Incredible.
There was also a huge amount of emotion. There were a couple of times where, by your own admission, the voice was cracking up a little bit. That must have been the definitive moment of your career, and something as overwhelming as you've ever experienced.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want to sound like an oversensitive soul, but when I was making my final notes on the Friday before the final, I actually had tears in my eyes in my hotel room on my own, because I reflected on this career that was never meant to happen. It started by accident. You know, I did my first rugby commentary on radio on my 22nd birthday, and it became a hobby. But it was a hobby that I started to get really comfortable with, and to what's now about 112, 113 test matches, and to reflect on all of that and realize that what you're going to do the next day is without question the biggest day of your career, and might end up being, in all likelihood it will be. The emotion came, Dan, when, you know, I looked to my left to this dear friend, Hanyani Shamangi, and I, through working together, touring together, living very close to each other, so braaiing together, have become very, very close friends. And to look to my left, wanting a comment from him, and just seeing the tears roll down his face as we built up to the final moments. They hadn't even happened. To see what it meant to him, that's when it really started to get very emotional. And we weren't shy of that either, you know, either of us. You know, you let it spill over, why wouldn't you? The words at the final whistle were very special to me, and I did something that I've not often, if ever, done in preparing for a commentary. I allowed myself to think about the what if. I don't like to do it. I like to be more spontaneous, and the reason for that is that I don't want to tempt fate. I don't want to jinx a possible result, but I think the size of the occasion, or the potential occasion, of Siya Kolisi lifting the Webberless Cup demanded that I thought about a framework of what I was going to say in that moment, and very proud of what came out when that whistle went.
There it is! The gong has sounded. Pollard kicks it into the stands. And there is indeed a cup of gold at the end of the South African rainbow. A country that so desperately needs to smile collectively and cohesively has been given an emphatic reason to do so tonight. A team of men ranging from over 2 meters tall to under 1.7, from 130 kilograms to 75. A team with many different mother tongues and backgrounds, but a team that celebrates its difference, its diversity, and which has used it as a powerful force for success.
Thank you, because you make rugby come alive for all of us. You're peerless at what you do, and it just added that extra touch to what was such a wonderful, wonderful Rugby World Cup. So thank you, Matthew Pearce.
Appreciate it.